Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're joining me from. Hello, and welcome to Too Ambitious. I'm Trish Lindo, and if this is your first time joining the show, all I want to say is thank you. But this show is about celebrating the achievements and the wonder that is phenomenal women in business. So on this show, Black women and women of color are changing the world. And you probably are like, I want to know more about them. So that's why I created this show. And so today I have a phenomenal woman on the show. She is, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I consider her a friend. I'll ask her later, but I consider her a friend. But I'm excited to have my friend Rupa Dev Rihan on Too Ambitious. Now, through her company, Rupa Dev Rihan Consulting, she helps leaders to level up their careers, land the job, and teaches them how to navigate the overall process. Now, she is a Gallup-Certified coach and a certified integrated leadership coach and a fantastic storyteller, community builder, and connector. She does it all. And guess what? She does it with style and soul fabulously. You will see. So, without further ado, I want you to show her so much love. I want to see those heart emojis light up. Welcome to Too Ambitious, Rupa. Woo!
What an intro. Thank you so much.
Of course, of course. Yeah, I'm super happy that you are able to join me today, and I want to thank you, and I know I said that we're friends, so I
We
hope you're
are.
okay.
Absolutely. I sought you out on the LinkedIn verse
Yes,
and
yes.
befriended you in person too. So I feel
Yes.
super lucky and blessed.
And I love it. I love it. We have a short amount of time with you, so I want everybody to know about everything that you're doing because you are bringing so much light into the world. So, let's set the stage a little bit. Tell me a little bit about your work and what you do through your business, Rupa Dev Rihan Consulting.
Yes. So the work that I do is helping individuals, teams, and organizations really align their strengths and what they do best and their gifts and the impact they want to make in the world, um, kind of with the choices that they're making. So this looks like one-on-one coaching where I work with individuals either through a career transition or people who are looking to level up in their career and help them really get clear on how to find more ease and alignment in their
Right.
life.
Yeah.
Um, or working with teams and organizations to
Okay.
get clear on what is each person's strength on the team, what are the
Okay.
goals, and how do they want to align all of those pieces to have a bigger impact, feel
Right.
more fulfilled, and kind of feel more ease in their lives. So, yeah,
Right.
individuals, companies, and teams.
Okay. Okay. So you kind of like, one-stop shop, let's back up a little bit. Tell me what was the turning point that made you decide to start your own business, because you weren't an entrepreneur all the time. So how did
No.
you get here, Rupa?
Yeah. I never planned to be on this journey. I guess it chose me.
Yeah. 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 It always has.
I was working full time in leadership development and social impact, and found myself, loving parts of that work, building community, helping building the capacity of leaders. So those
Right.
parts I really loved. But
Yeah.
at the time, I made this pivot because my mom got sick very
Mhm.
unexpectedly
Yeah.
and passed away very quickly from cancer. And so at that time, I think it was like one of those eureka type moments in
Wow.
life where what I learned was, when I saw my mom who was like really healthy and really vibrant become so sick so quickly, it was like when you are terminally ill, your options are very limited. So it started to really bring this question to
Yeah.
light for me. If I'm not terminally ill and I have maybe some of the access and opportunities that I have with my privileges,
Hmm.
what more might be possible in my professional life,
Right.
seeing what the other side. And so that kind of got me on this journey of like, well, what if I could actually design more of what I really love?
Yeah.
What if I could start my own business? And I also wanted to sort of shift my life after my mom passed away. And
Right.
that was what unexpectedly took me in this direction,
Mm.
starting my own thing.
Yeah.
Wanting to make the most of like our one precious life.
Yeah, we do, and I'm sorry for the loss of your
Thank
mom.
you.
I know when you know, these things happen in our lives and we all have dealt with it in one way or another, it does cause a lot of reflection,
Mm,
and how to move forward. So you chose the path of doing something that you love, and taking it in a direction that makes you feel good and make your family proud of you. So thank you for that, because I think every time any of us chooses to do something for ourselves, it does have a ripple effect, you know. So, tell me a little bit about, starting your business,
mm,
what were some of the things that you kind of had to navigate in the beginning with this business, because we know it's a coaching business, right? It's
yes.
consulting, and we know that area is not necessarily like, do you go to school for coaching?
Mm,
Like you get a degree, like it's not like, oh, like I got a degree in finance and now I'm going to open up my accounting firm, So what were
yeah.
the challenges you were dealing with in the beginning?
Oh, so many. So in the beginning, I didn't really start in coaching at all. I actually
Okay.
just started in taking on project-based work in
Okay.
consulting. And so I really started from a place of like, how can I get work?
Yeah.
Who do I know?
Right.
And how could I add value? And
Yeah.
so in the beginning, it was really just taking on a bunch of different things
Got
from
it.
curriculum design to facilitation to helping other entrepreneurs that were starting their own businesses to um, like some marketing, comms collateral. It was like, what work can I get that
Yeah.
feels in my wheelhouse
Right.
ish?
Yeah.
And then eventually, I did that for a few years, and then I started to get, clear on what am I naturally good at, right? So I would take on project management because I could do it
Right.
and I could get paid for it. But then I started to kind of look at like, what am I naturally good at? What are my strengths? And you and I have gotten to talk a little bit about strengths
Yeah.
um, in our time together. But like that then helped me start to get clear on what I really wanted to do, the coaching, the consulting, the work I'm doing, because I start to align it to what I'm naturally good at.
Got it.
So in the beginning, it was like take anything I could get. Then eventually it was like, okay, can I get clear on what I want to do? And then what kind of additional training do I need? So I paid the most amount of money I had ever paid out of my own business to get certified as a Gallup-certified strengths coach. So that was like
Right.
the first big investment that I
Okay.
made.
Okay.
And then I eventually went and got certified as an integrated leadership coach. So that was like the second investment that I made in
Okay.
my development. And then along the way, attending different conferences, events like you
Okay.
in design facilitation.
Awesome.
But still to this day, 95% of my business is through referrals and
Mm.
repeat clients, people in my network, people who see what I'm doing and then reach out to me on LinkedIn or
Right.
Instagram or text and want to work together. So I always love to say,
Yeah.
for me, people aren't really finding me on the internet.
Right. Well, listen, I think that coaching, I think, is so important for all of us. At some point we all need a coach, somebody to help us get to that next level in
That's
life, or to achieve the goals that we want to achieve. Would you say that, I know you've got like you took those programs, those professional programs, like, the Gallup coaching
yeah.
certification. Would you say those are necessary to become a coach? Like if someone is like watching this right now and they're like, oh, I want to do that. Do you have to do all those things? Do you recommend that?
It depends on the kind of coach I think you want to
Okay.
be, right?
Okay.
So like if you are coaching, let's say personal branding or LinkedIn, branding, the kind of work you do,
Yeah.
sometimes really the coaching is about your subject area
Okay.
expertise and your advising and your strategic perspective. And so it's more of strategic advising, it's more of consulting sometimes
Yeah.
than we could say the kind of coaching that we're taught in a certification program, which is really about allowing the client to guide the journey, the client to identify their goals.
Yeah.
And so it really depends on like, what's the goal of your business? What services are you selling? And is the service more aligned to, your area of expertise, and, or is the service about, really taking the client on a journey? And then, so that's what I'd say is one. I think two, for me, I would highly recommend doing a certification program for somebody who is either really somebody who thrives in a learning environment. So I have found for myself, like if I don't commit and invest in that structure, I don't do it on my own. For me. And I actually have lots of clients and friends who can and love to, actually just resist a classroom structure. And they don't learn that way. They don't feel motivated. But for me, it really forces me to prioritize like strengthening my skills and expertise in a structure.
Okay.
So I would recommend it. But again, depends on the context, what kind of coach you want to be.
Got it. And then, so you mentioned before, like, you wanted the consulting and the coaching to align with your strengths. What are your strengths, Rupa?
Thanks for asking. So, well, we all have strengths and we can use different jargon and language to talk about it. So one way to talk about it is the sort of language in Clifton Strengths, which is, the body of work I'm certified in. It doesn't have to be that way. So in terms of my top strengths, I lead with relationship building. And so some of my top strengths in that body of work, if other people are familiar with it, are individualization, customizing everything based on the client, the individual, working differently, positivity, using enthusiasm to motivate groups, developer, being somebody who really is motivated by being a part of somebody else's learning journey, connectedness, believing that we're all connected and we all have a purpose and we're all sort of doing this together. Ideation, that one I have to really regulate and rein it in because I can just have too many ideas. Futuristic, love thinking about the future, love a vision. I'm really strong visionary, not a strong Evan executor, and a couple others. Arranger, kind of being a conductor and bringing lots of different pieces together.
Okay. I thought you said ranger, like.
Yeah, it's called a ranger. We love to use like the metaphor image of a conductor. So lots of moving pieces, bringing it together. Those are a couple of my top strengths.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I think obviously they all align with the work that you're doing. I'm showing your website, and I think the work that you're doing is clearly resonating with people. I look at some of these, reviews, and, Rupa over-delivered with sharp insight, valuable resources, and priceless takeaways. Run, don't walk to work with her. What? Amazing. Rupa gave the confidence I need to put myself back out there and made a change for my career. She does a great job supporting people to get to the next level in their career. I think that is straight up phenomenal, and I love your website too. Super easy to kind of navigate and everything like that. So love it. One of the things I wanted to kind of find out from you though is, what was it like to scale your business? Like, we talk about like finding the clients. I know you have great referrals, but how do you scale, or how did you go about scaling your consulting business?
Great question. Yeah. So I would say I'm in that like phase right now where I am trying to build my team and move from like a solo entrepreneur to scaling, because I'm like the business is now grown and I'm kind of catching up. So I think in terms of a couple like reflections and pieces of advice, I think coming back to the strengths, it's like, how can I assemble a team where each person can be in their zone of genius and we can build together? So that looks like, I have somebody who I work with who does finance and operations for me, and we meet every week. So, and she that's her zone of genius.
Yeah.
So that piece, I'm looking to, I have a collaborator who I do who supports with strategic planning, and
Okay.
that's her just zone of genius. And
Okay.
so I think for me, it's about how can I assemble a team of collaborators and
Right.
that can all be in their lane,
Yeah.
and we can sort of, like make more impact together. I think the second piece, and I'm on this journey right now, is how to hone in the offers
Yeah.
and get a little bit, because I'm doing a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how to get a little bit more refined in
Mhm.
what is the problem, who is the ideal client, what's the
Yeah.
problem that I'm solving,
Right.
what are the results that we drive towards, how do we measure them, and then how can I kind of raise the level of sophistication of that
Yeah.
service,
Yeah.
as I scale, so it's a higher quality service and it feels like we can deliver very well on the promise. So
Right.
that's where I'm moving towards. Like, how do I raise the sophistication of
Yeah.
the service?
Yeah. Now, does the coach have a coach? Do you have a
Always,
coach? Okay.
always.
All right. I just
Um, I had just a life change. I've had different coaches. I've had two business coaches at different times that I've hired who have been incredible. I had an amazing life changing coach through my coaching program, Michael Tucker, like
okay.
truly life changing. And he really helped me figure out my vision for my business. He also helped me surface when I was being judgmental towards other coaches and other things that actually under the surface were things that I wanted for myself.
Oh.
So, yeah, I said something in a session like, those coaches that like run a retreat in Costa Rica and you get an Instagram ad for like a $3,000 retreat. And it's like, you get all these ads and they're like 7-figure business, all this stuff. And I was being judgy about it. And my coach was like, I hear judgment. Like, and I was like, yeah, I guess you're right. Like I am kind of, it's like, what's underneath that? And I
Right.
think over the sessions I started to surface, oh, what's actually there is desire. Oh, I would love to like host a beautiful retreat, whether
Yeah.
it's in Costa Rica or here, for incredible women and non-binary femmes.
Right.
I'd love to participate or host. And so
Right.
through that process of like shifting from, a judgment to envy to desire, it kind of allowed me to then create the vision. And
Yeah.
next month, I'm so lucky to be co-hosting a retreat for 35 women of color
Yeah.
executives.
Yeah. Where do your retreats go? Where do you have your retreats?
Well, we are really lucky to have been hired. We are being hired by two foundations that are funding this retreat, fully funded for
Oh,
these former and current grantees. So it really is, their vision,
okay.
their investment. And this is going to be in Napa.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yes. Yes. That
Yes. So it's going to be next
sounds
month.
beautiful.
So,
Yeah.
like putting the vision out there for 2025, hosting something out of my own business next year,
Yeah.
and hopefully collaborating with you.
Yeah. I mean, see, now you're trying to make me blush on camera.
Excuse me. I mean, when you were going through my website and saying all the things, I was like, okay, I need to hire you as my hype woman. And you're like, I like the branding and the website. I was like, I need to hire you for branding because I love
I
your
mean,
branding.
you know.
So,
Well, you're too kind. So thank you.
yeah.
I received that, Now I know, Rupa, you work with a lot of leaders of color, and we all know, as Black women and women of color, the challenges that we all sort of have faced or continue to face when you're in corporate. Can you take me through the process, like when a client comes to you and says, I need help? How does that process begin to work with you?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I guess the one thing I want to mention right before I share the process is that I fell into this work supporting leaders of color because I was hired to do career coaching by an organization, and it was an organization with a lot of members that I knew well.
Mhm.
And I was really surprised to see people I knew personally that were like leading big teams in corporate, in nonprofits, in
Right.
schools, that were leading big groups doing incredible work that felt really underconfident, that felt like they didn't have their resume aligned to the level of impact that they were doing,
Right.
that, and I noticed the ways other people with dominant identity markers felt very empowered, confident, clear,
Yeah.
in all the things that we know from the research.
Right.
And so it really kind of pushed me to feel this like deep passion to want to do this work, to kind of
Yeah.
help close some of the gaps, and then
Yeah.
work with my own privilege. My
Yeah.
parents worked in corporate. And so even though they were Indian immigrants, I feel like I got access to language that I heard them speak growing
Right.
up. And I started to realize as I got older how much access is gate
Mhm.
kept. And so that's sort of why it feels
Yeah.
really like urgent to me to do this work. And in terms of the process, if someone will come to me and say, hey, I'm looking to, like, I really want to change my job, or I'm not feeling satisfied, or I'm feeling
Right.
stuck.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what's next. And so typically we'll have a conversation, just kind of like a consult call where I'll ask them a number of questions,
Yeah.
probably similar to you with your clients, around, what is the context? What are they looking for? What kind of shifts are they looking for? What would success look like if we work together? And
Right.
then from there, it's usually like making a really honest recommendation or assessment. Like, am I somebody who can help you? Am I the right person to help you? Because I may
Right.
not have the right expertise. You might
Uh-huh.
be looking to work with a coach in tech, for example, if you're trying to pivot, from, I don't know, a school to a tech role. I would
Mhm.
say I refer you to some people who I think have like the insider knowledge for the kind of
Right.
companies and roles you're looking for.
Okay.
To build a network here in the Bay Area, in this
Right.
area. So
Right.
maybe I'll refer someone out. If I feel like I'm in a position to help or support them, then
Mhm.
I'll share, my coaching packages, or I'll share other offers that I have, um, like a monthly networking space that I host, or other
Mhm.
partners that I work with. And then they can make a choice if they want to work together. I
Yeah.
work right now with more organizations and companies that are either coming to me and saying, hey, we're going through either a severance or a layoff. Can
Right.
we hire you to provide career coaching for our
Mm.
employees as
Nice.
part of a severance package,
Yeah.
which is like, a bit of a tricky place to be in, but is an
Yeah.
opportunity for me to bring my like warmth and expertise
Yeah.
to a really tough experience.
Right.
Or people say, I'm doing a Clifton Strengths workshop next week. So they'll come to me and say, can you do a workshop for our ERG for early career,
Mhm.
leaders at our organization that are trying to figure out how they want to think more about their career growth.
Got it.
So
Okay.
that's a little bit about the process.
Yeah, yeah. How long does it usually last, or it just varies from client to client?
It varies from client to client. Yeah. Like a coaching package can be between 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
Um, and then for a client, it depends on whether they want a workshop, a training
Okay.
program. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I love it. Now, you've mentioned Clifton Strengths a few
Uh-huh.
times. For people who may not know what that is, can you explain, tell us a little bit more about Clifton's strength?
Hmm. Yes. It's an assessment and a development tool. It
Okay.
has been taken by 35 million people around the world. And it is basically like many leadership development tools out
Okay.
there. It is one tool that kind of measures your naturally occurring talents and top strengths. So
Oh,
there's 34 different strengths, and they're in
well,
4 categories:
yeah.
executing, relationship building, strategic thinking, and influencing. And
Okay.
so it's a whole really robust body of work from a leadership development company called Gallup that
Okay.
allows people to understand better what are you naturally good at, what
Got it.
comes to you with ease,
Mm.
which is a great question,
Yeah.
um, and then how do you then kind of identify your strengths,
Yeah.
articulate them for yourself, and then aim them towards the goals you're trying to achieve.
Got it.
So yeah, I really love the model. It changed my life. I
Yeah.
was always wanting to be somebody I wasn't. I wanted different strengths. I wanted different expertise. I wanted to be like my managers, like leaders I looked up to. And
Yeah.
I wasn't able to really see um, what I could offer. So once I went on this journey, I have been kind of on fire.
I mean, clearly, I love it, you know. I think you were the first person who who I learned about Clifton's strengths. So, I'm completely fascinated by it, and I'm going to do it because I've
Yes.
never done it.
I can't wait to do it. We can have a conversation.
Yeah, I'm going to do it because, like, I feel like, a lot of us, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, you feel like you're good at a lot of things, but
Yes.
which things are you really good at is the
It's
thing.
also fun, because I feel like you're in such a really great self-assured place too in your life
Well,
in it
thanks.
from the well, we're all on a journey. We're
We're
all
all on a
myself
journey.
included. But to be able, when you're younger, sometimes it's harder to not just focus on what you're not good at the
Yeah,
bottom of the report. But
yeah,
as we get a little bit older, we can hold it with some compassion. So
yeah,
I love to now like talk about what's at the bottom of my report with
yeah.
like humor, like, oh, at the bottom I have achiever, which is legit people who really find fulfillment by checking everything off every day.
Yes,
That is
right,
not me, though. That is many people in my life and many of my
right.
clients. And
Yeah,
so I love to be like, I have achiever 34. So, that means my list looks different than yours or
yeah,
whatever. So I'd
yeah,
be really curious to know what's at your top and what's at your
yeah,
bottom too,
yeah,
and hold it with some joy and
yeah.
grace.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna check
Yeah,
it out. I'm gonna, get on and see because I am very curious, So yeah,
I'll
so there's
send you.
that.
We'll connect outside of this because I have a code that I can send you that takes
Ooh.
a bit of a discount off.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Now, Rupa, you, as I've mentioned before, you're a woman of many talents and interests. You're a community builder and
Mm.
you love style and fashion just like I do, but what I want to know is what do you dream about? You know,
Mhm.
what do your dreams look like?
I want to say like, oh, she's a host, she's an interviewer, she's a seasoned professional. I'm
Ooh.
thinking of you, hearing that question. Um, I I think I dream about a simple, meaningful life.
Mm,
Period.
yeah.
And I just like everyone else get caught up in, the vibey ads that I'm pushed on
Yep.
Instagram and living in the Bay Area, as you know, all the things I get caught up. But I think at the core, like at the end of, my dream would be to, at the end of my life, say, oh, I lived a simple, meaningful life
Yeah.
um, through my work and with my family and my friends.
Mm,
Um, and then professionally, I dream about creating really safe and nourishing spaces for
mm,
women and non-binary people to feel supported, cared for, and developed, and to feel like their own dreams can be voiced as well,
yeah.
and that they can pursue them with
Mhm.
care.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I kind of expected you to say that, but because that checks all the boxes for who you are, Miss Rupa. You know,
Oh.
would you consider yourself ambitious, Rupa?
I think I'm in a bit of an identity crisis because I think that for a long time I was like, ambition wasn't really what I associated with myself, but now I've come to sort of notice, like, I think I'm really ambitious, and
Yeah,
I feel like I'm walking back all of the lecturing that I've probably done for people
yeah,
in my life just
yeah,
around, like, work-life balance
right.
and, sort of like this simple, meaningful life. So
Yeah.
I think I'm learning that I think I am ambitious about the impact that I wanna make in the world. Um,
Oh, okay.
and
I
I'm
love it.
yeah, reorienting, my own identity around ambition.
Yeah.
And I saw a video you posted yesterday that was like, about like, am I doing too much? And I think I wanted to comment, and I was like, I loved this video, and I wanted to comment like, no, we're not doing enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like in not in like a let's do more labor, but like let's do
Right.
more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Let's be
yeah,
all the things.
yeah,
You know?
totally. Um,
Absolutely. Shoot. No, I love it. And I love that you're taking time for yourself to sort of kind of figure out what that means for you, as you move forward, because yeah, life be lifing sometimes, and it moves so fast. So taking that time for ourselves to kind of figure out like, okay, who am I? What am I trying to do? What am I trying to accomplish? And really kind of sit in that space. So kudos to you for doing the work, as they say.
Oh, thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate
of
you
course.
saying that.
Of course. And so where can we find you, Rupa? If we want to work
Yes.
with you, is the best way to
Yes.
DM you? Is that it?
DM me. Yeah. DM me on LinkedIn.
Okay.
I know you're sharing the information. I'm on LinkedIn. I have a website. You can also sign up for a consult call on my website. I'm also on Instagram. You can find me there, but I'm more active on LinkedIn.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Rupa, for your time today. I appreciate you for, just showing up and sharing your gifts with me and our audience today. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. And thank you so much for thinking of me. And I'm so excited for what more is to come with you.
Yes, absolutely. It's always going to be more,
That's
it's going to
right.
be more. Yeah, we're going to
Yes.
do
Yes.
it.
I
Well,
like
thank you for your time. And thank you everyone for joining the show today. I hope you have gotten your cup filled up as much as I did today.
it.
So thank you. And I will see you next time or next week for another episode of Too Ambitious. Thanks, everyone.